Well, here in Lloydminster, all types of vehicles rolled into town on Saturday for the Just Cruising Car Show. While some rain did roll through, it didn't dampen the excitement for those who took part.
It's great. It might be raining, but the sun finally came out a little bit. It's a great time to be at a car show.
The service center parking lot was filled with cars from multiple eras. Armed Forces vehicles from Wainwright also made the trip. Organizers were surprised by the number of trucks taking part, adding that many people had time to work on their vehicles during the COVID shutdowns.
The people have been chomping at the bit to get out. There's people who've moved vehicles, sold vehicles, built new vehicles.
For many, it was their first car show, and it's important for the Just Cruising Car Club to make their car shows as family-friendly as possible.
You walk around, see the cars for 15 minutes, 20 minutes, or an hour, and then you're gone. We want to make sure that the people know that there's activities here for the kids too. So we got a matchbox race track that they can race a matchbox race, and then we got a make and take where they can build a model and take it home with them, and it's all at no cost.
This is the first year Border City Connects could have their RibFest event without a drive-through for their Father's Day weekend. The support from residents has been strong for the past couple of years regardless. Now there is even more with in-person lineups and live entertainment. Border City Connects knows what to adjust for next year's event and how to make things even better for Father's Day 2023.
Yeah, you know, it's always great to see people out enjoying themselves. And I think judging by the lineups we saw, specifically Saturday and Sunday, I think everybody had a really, really good time, and the support is great to see. You know, this is a big thing for Border City Connects with the cost of doing everything these days. It's great to see so many people out enjoying the weekend.
Every RibFest, the truck owners appreciate seeing how many Lloydminster residents come out to eat. The owners made a generous donation to the olive tree to really show their appreciation.
So it would be roughly $10,000 worth of food donated to the olive tree as a thank you to the community for supporting RibFest. So over 3 years, that's over $30,000 that they have donated right back into the olive tree in Lloydminster, which is phenomenal to see.
People can expect a bigger event for RibFest 2023, and Border City Connects will announce how much proceeds they've received over the weekend at a later date. Well, it's time now for this week's edition of Retrospect. Here's Blake Nath.
This week in Retrospect. It's vacation season in '92, and the RCMP give home security advice to summer travelers.
Summer is a very popular time for break and enter in any city. So before you go on vacation, you may want to follow a few tips to keep burglars out. Constable Ken Piper says people can take certain precautions to protect their homes.
Some basic things can be done to ensure better security. An outside light such as the one here, although it's not as bright as the motion-sensitive floodlights, it does serve a purpose. With the front door of a residence, having a good solid wood door is important. A couple problems on this one, though, however, is that we don't see any deadbolts, and that's an important safety feature, as well as the viewing glass in the middle of the door allows, if it was broken, to easily reach in and undo the lock that's present.
He says windows are always a weak spot.
So even if you want it open partially and you do leave the residence, anybody that does come along wishing to gain access just has to lift it open totally, and they're in the house. So locking pins at different stages in the window are very important.
And basement windows are a target of many burglars.
It is probably the most common point of entry for any break-in that occurs within our city. 3 common and easy things that can be done to ensure residential safety is to have good exterior lighting over the rear windows in any residence, as well as having the glass intact and ensure the frame is secured firmly to the outside wall.
And a not-so-direct message washes up ashore in '97.
This was where the mystery unfolded almost 2 weeks ago. It was a long day for St. Walburg RCMP and Midwest Rescue officials as they searched from dawn till dusk at the banks of the North Saskatchewan River. They found all kinds of garbage and debris along the shoreline, including a weathered plastic 7-Up bottle with a very interesting story.
As we met up at the end of the search, everybody was showing each other what they found, and somebody happened to find the note in the bottle.
The note, still in good shape, was written by 11-year-old Suzanne Calder, who had thrown it in the river in Edmonton 8 years ago. 18-year-old Alfield was given the note because he's closest to the girl's age. He wrote back that very night.
It could be when some strange destiny thing, you never know. I really didn't know what to say because I only know what I know about her is from when she was in grade 6. So. She was 11 at the time, right? So she talked about her newts and her dog and her saxophone and, you know, what school she went to and that.
Constable Greg Volick with the St. Walburg Detachment tracked down the girl through the address on the note. Luckily, her family still lives at the same location. Suzanne wasn't home at the time, but her mother was.
And we found the bottle. Yeah, so, yeah, well, it was September the 27th, 1989.
Today we were able to reach Suzanne herself. Apparently the bottled message was a class project. Each student participated. However, to date, only one other classmate's note has been found, and only 1 month after it was released.
And that's all for this week in retrospect.
Retrospect is brought to you by Webb's Machinery. Find New Holland products at Webb's Machinery, your dealer in Vermilion, Vegreville, Lamont, Wainwright, St. Paul, and Consulate.
And now it's time for a look at your evening weather forecast with Shelby Clark.
Thank you so much, Mr. Jason Mackey. Now taking a first look at your weather forecast here in the border city. We are sitting at 20 right now, so we are seeing a pretty warm day, I would say, but it is looking a lot more gloomier than what we have been seeing later on last week and throughout the weekend. We are seeing a lot more cloudier conditions, so hopefully everybody's still enjoying their day out there. We will hopefully get a little bit more sun later on through the week. And now switching over to temperatures across the region for Alberta and Saskatchewan. On the Alberta side, we are seeing those double digits continue on. We are seeing between 18 to 20 degrees in most spots on the Alberta side. So we are seeing some nice temperatures as we are reaching just the 20 mark. And up in Lac La Biche, they are just seeing 17. So they are seeing a couple degrees cooler compared to the rest. Switching now to our Saskatchewan side, they are seeing those double digits as well. Some slightly warmer compared to the Alberta side. Most spots are just seeing that 19 mark over on the Saskatchewan side. I know many spots in Saskatchewan as well saw some crazy storms throughout the weekend, and we got a lot of pictures submitted seeing a lot of the pictures of hail that we saw were landing on the ground. So I'm going to be showing a little bit of that later on, but we are seeing some spots that are just reaching 21 on this side with Isle Cross, Pearson, and Meadow Lake. And as we go a little bit lower to North Battleford, they are seeing slightly cooler. And for North Battleford, they will be going down to low of 13. So we are seeing some nice temperatures for our evening lows still continue on. They will be seeing those showers continue on as well through their evening. Then tomorrow they will be seeing 21 with a mixture of some sun and clouds. So seeing a warmer day for them tomorrow. Cold Lake will be going now to a low of 12, so they aren't seeing too bad temperature-wise. They aren't seeing any showers at the moment. Then they will be seeing 23 tomorrow with a little bit more sun peeking behind those clouds. And for us in the border city, we will be seeing that 12 mark. We will be seeing a couple clouds in sight. Then tomorrow we will be seeing 22, so warming up slightly, although we will be seeing a slight chance of some showers also tomorrow with a little mixture of some sunny days. So although we will get some sun, we will be seeing a slight chance of some wet conditions coming up here. And now showing off one of those photo submissions we got of the hail. I actually got two coming up here. This one's from Alvin. Thank you for this submission. Look at the size of those hails. Like, they are massive, almost the size of golf balls, honestly, even bigger. Pretty much, I even saw a photo that was compared to a tennis ball, so it's pretty crazy seeing the examples of some hail that hit the ground in some spots. I know Unity Reward, Cactus got a lot of crazy hailstorms, so hopefully everybody is safe out there. But that's all I got for now. We'll have more coming up after the break.
I'm now joined by the voice of the CKSA, Greg Buchanan. Greg, thanks so much for coming on and chatting with me today about chuck wagons.
Thanks for having me again.
Well, of course, the first couple of days of the races this past weekend in Poundmaker were a rough outing because of rain and whatnot. How much of an effect do you feel like that had on the drivers and the riders?
Well, I think that's nothing new to chuck wagon racing. We're kind of at the mercy of Mother Nature on any given weekend. You throw in the fact that they raced 2 weekends ago in York, and then they had a weekend off, and then you get to Poundmaker, and these horses are a creature of habit. They get to they get to the barns, they get to the stables, and they know they're there for a reason. They know they're there to race. So all of a sudden, you tell them Wednesday we're not racing. You tell Thursday we're not racing. And you know what? Credit to the pound maker and the CPCA track committees for coming together, getting that track ready on Friday and racing Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Because on Thursday we showed up there. We did a rain out broadcast on the CPCA radio network. And honestly, I couldn't even walk across the track. It was that thick and that soupy. So the work to win in on that track on Thursday night to get ready for Friday is immense. And hats off to them for the simple fact that we were able to race.
Certainly, of course, it did have its challenges this past weekend. But once the races did get going there, just who were some of the drivers and the riders that stood out to you that you were impressed with?
Well, I think one guy that kind of stands out for me is DJ King, and he had a couple of firsts in the weekend. DJ King, the former NHLer, and he wins his first day money on Saturday and then gets into his first dash for cash on Sunday. It didn't work out for him on Sunday. He had a knockdown barrel, but at the same time, you know, here's a driver that's up and coming in the CPCA, and the guy that won the dash is Danny Ringette, another driver that won a day money on Friday and then has a shot at the dash for cash on Sunday. And because of penalties to the likes of Logan Gorse, Luke Tournier, and DJ King, Danny Ringette stayed penalty free, and thus he wins the dash for cash. So again, we talk about this many times in the CPCA. You never know who's going to win day money on a given night. You never know who's going to win a dash. You never know who's going to win a show. And Palmaker is proof of that.
Well, I'm glad you mentioned Danny Ringette, because that was actually going to be the next person I was going to ask you about. Just, he seemed to be the one guy that was consistent throughout that weekend. What did you think about his performance overall?
I think Danny is coming up in the CPCA. It's one of those, we like to call it a young gun, but he knows being consistent is very important, and staying penalty free is very important. And he did that on Sunday to win the dash for cash. But he's one that's been building up his barn and trying to make those strides moving forward. And he made a big stride on the weekend winning that dash. And now he goes to Wainwright, a smaller track, a lot smaller than the previous one in Pound Makers. So here's some challenge for Danny to see what he has here on a shorter track. But again, you can be cracking the top 5 right now in the point standings. And you know, with the likes of Todd Baptiste, with the likes of a Canadian champion, Logan Gorse. So you know, he's in contention again to win a day money anytime.
Well, of course, you just mentioned about Wainwright, which is where the next set of races are going to be taking place later this week. Who are you hoping to see step up to the challenge there, especially with a smaller track?
Yeah, with a smaller track and a shorter track, they always say there's a won and lost in the barrels, because if you come out of the barrels and you have the lead and you grab that rail, it's really hard for you to make up that real estate that you need on that track. If you get in behind coming out of the infield, then it's really hard to catch up. So anybody that barrels very well, keeps the barrels up, has a shot to win any given night in Wainwright. And a guy like a Todd Baptiste, who's one of the best barrelers in the sport and a former Canadian champion, a high point winner last year, I like his chances. But you know, there's so many good barrelers out there. Danny Ringette is also developing into a great barreler. Ryan Baptiste, Todd's brother, and then don't count out the likes of Jamie Labicane. Jamie had a real tough weekend, and you know, it was coming together for him Saturday. He was in contention being that dash. He was in the top 4. Then Saturday night, a rarity for Jamie Labicane, knocks down both barrels, takes him out of that dash for cash. But what does he do the next day on Sunday? He doesn't qualify for that dash, but puts up one solid run to crack the top 5. So like a Jamie Labicane for a little bounce back for him in Wainwright this weekend as well.
Well, it's going to be a very exciting weekend, as the races will be taking place from June 24th to the 26th in Wainwright. Again, Greg, just thanks so much for coming on and chatting with me about Chuck Wagons. Really appreciate your time.
Thanks for having me once again.
Furniture set and design supplied by Furniture Gallery and Furniture House, downtown Lloydminster.
Well, thank you so much for joining me today, guys. I really appreciate it. Right now, I am joined by Darren Gusnowski and Rob Shapiro of the Edmonton-based country duo Jaywalker. And it's such a pleasure to have you two, because you have a new song out called Beers, which we are going to be talking about here in a few minutes. But of course, now our viewers, they may recognize you because you were a part of the band Hey Romeo for quite some time. And that is kind of how Jaywalker got started. From my understanding, you guys were writing songs that didn't quite fit with the band's mold, and that's how it came to be. But tell me, in your words, how did Jaywalker get started?
Well, that's pretty close to the exact story right there. Yeah, we were just, there'd be occasions where Rob and I would go out and write, and some of the stuff just didn't seem to fit in with what we were doing with Hey Romeo. So we just kept it on the back burner. And then when things started to slow down for that band, we just kind of continued moving forward, and some of the songs were, stuck with us, and we decided that, these are things that people need to hear.
It's true. And first of all, thank you so much for having us on. Lloydminster has been very good to us, playing all the events, the rodeo events down there. And so it's great to be back. We do want to get back to town. And like Darren had said, Hey Romeo has been, we've been to your town so many times. And so we want to get back with Jaywalker, and we can't wait.
Well, we would love to have you back here to play a show. That would be so fun. Now, the name Jaywalker, it kind of actually happened right in the middle of a road while you maybe have been walking. So tell us about the name Jaywalker.
You seem to have all the inside info, Sarah. Yeah. Nice segue into our story. We were lamenting over band names, and so our first band name actually was called Utter Madness, and like the cow Utter. So that was funny.
That's usually the reaction we get as well. Yeah.
Yeah. Funny. And then Hey Romeo that took a long time to pick too, because we had a female singer. And so band names are not easy, no matter what anybody says. So we had a list, and in town that week actually was Bruno Mars was playing downtown, and we decided we were going to go because that guy is phenomenal. And so sure enough, we're getting ready to go across the street, and we started running, and midway through the intersection, of course, we're jaywalking, and it was like, oh, that's a good name for a band. It's like, we got to beat that one, and we never did. So Jaywalker stuck, and here we are, and we like it.
Well, I also think it is very catchy. It is quite the name. And now you two already have a couple of songs out as Jaywalker, and they're both streaming wherever you get your music. You have Kicking Back on a Sunday and Drawing a Blank. That's where I got to really know you guys, was with Drawing a Blank, of course. And now your latest release, it just came out. It's called Beers, and it is so fun for summer. And the music video is also out too. So tell us a bit about this fun song.
Alrighty. So I work a little bit with Aaron Goodvin, and Aaron has been particularly good to us as far as making time to write songs. And I also play keyboards for him once in a while, and Darren plays a little bit of guitar for Dan Davidson. So it was kind of a fun story because Dan Davidson ended up producing the song, and Aaron Goodvin ended up co-writing the song. So we kind of surrounded them and just told them, look, it's in your best interest if you guys work with us. And they did. So it was a real group effort, and we love those guys, and they've been particularly good to us after we got out of Hey Romeo, when we had a little bit of time to ourselves to kind of freelance a bit and to watch, their careers kind of come to fruition and do very well. So it's fun to be a part of their camps, and they helped us. And so it's not as competitive as you might think, is when they're producing with you and they're writing songs with you and they care about you. So we love those guys. And that song I heard, Aaron writes multiple songs a week, and so he's got 400 songs for me to listen to. And I was just like, it's crazy. We're driving down the road, and he's just like, how about this one? Oh, this one. I'm like, yeah, these are all good. I'm like, but I heard Beers, and I was like, oh, this is a hit. So it took me forever to talk him into it, to let us record it. And sure enough, because we don't usually record outside songs from other people, but we usually co-write them. And so this one was, yeah, you had to do it. I was like, so it took some cajoling, and so we're super thankful to get it, and Darren sang it really well. And
well, thanks.
Yes, yeah, he did a very good job. Very inspiring.
It was it was just such a catchy song when he played us the demo, and there was something about it that coming into summertime, we were, our next release needed to come out quick, and that just seemed to be a good summer title. Beers. Who doesn't like beer?
It's true. And the video was pretty funny. We drove back from Grand Prairie, and we had to shoot the video on no sleep. And so we were kind of goofing it up a little bit, and we had a great time. Some friends of ours had this acreage, which they lent us. were sort of offered up to us for the day, and so very sweet of them. And so we had a whole bunch of fun. Of course, you can see that online.
And of course, the inevitable question we all got to ask is, where can everybody find everything about Jaywalker, your music, and of course, the music video for Beers?
Well, jaywalkercountry.com, Jaywalker Country on Instagram, Jaywalker Country on Facebook, and that's pretty much where you'll find it, and of course, YouTube. And so we'd love to hear from you, of course. So please hit us up, comment, and of course we want you to stream it and follow us and stay in touch, because we're going to come to your town and we're going to come to Lloydminster. We can't wait.
We can't wait either. Well, thank you so much, guys, for joining me today. I really appreciate it.
No worries. Thanks for having us. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Sarah.
And that's all the time we have for our first hour of Primetime Local News. Thank you all for joining us, and we'll see you in the next hour.